Bruce's big call Dinar Intel Tuesday night the 7th of October 25. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Transcribed by Wiser, now emailed to recaps, Intel only. Welcome everybody to the big call tonight. It's Tuesday, October 7th and you're listening to the big call. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Yet, once again, good to have you back in tonight, and good to be talking with everybody. I've got Sue and Bob here, and we are just excited to get started with the call. Now let's talk a little bit about where we stand. I've got quite a few different things to talk about. One thing I want to talk about before I forget about it is I did hear something that I did not know was available to us for the med beds. And this is setting the time for our aging process, because I thought it was sort of set for us to age 1 year for every 15 years of time. Actually a choice that we can make to age 1 year for every 10 years of time, or 1 year for every 15 years of time, or 1 year for every 20 years of time. That's the one I'm going to go through. Yep, yeah, so that way, in 100 years, you will have aged 5 years in 100 years of time. So I'm going for that. I'm going for the long term, going for the distance. And that's just an amazing option that just came out. I just found out about yesterday. Tell them about the 28, tell them about, because they don't know that. I don't think 28 versus 30. I got it, Sue. Time that you can go back to, if you're under 80 years old, under 80, you can take your age all the way back to the age of 30. I wanted to go back to 25, then I was told, no, it's going to be 28. Well, they don't want us to go younger than 30, so we don't do stupid stuff again. That's how it was literally put out. Now, I don't think there was a huge difference between me at 28 and 30 is fine. I can live at 3030. Is good, and then in 100 years, I'll be 35, so not bad, right? They did change that on us, but we do have that option. And listen, if you say, I don't want to, I want to age a little sooner than that. Well, you know what? You don't have to go back to the age of 30. You can go to 32 or 35 or whatever. Now if you're 80 and older, you can take it back 50 years. 80 would take it back to 30, you're 80 years old. You could go back as early. If you're 85, you could go back to 35. They want to be able to go 50 years back in your age. Okay? So anyway, that's just a little something. Thank you, Sue, for reminding me about the other thing. That's good. I think it's important. I think it's going to be, incredible. I'm very excited about it. Anybody with dire need and Zim goes to the head of the class, we're able to get in a little sooner. They want Zim holders who are considered sovereigns. They don't even use the term Zim holders for us anymore. They're using the term sovereign, and they want us to be able to be around to see our projects come to full fruition. So that's cool with me. I plan to be around and to be around for a while. Alright, let's go into some other things that we found out. Alright, let's see. Let me clear out this and see how I want to bring this out. Let's start with this. Guys, we've been talking about Doge and we've been talking about tariff dividends and R&R and Social Security increases. So let's just touch those Social Security increases should be happening this month. Tomorrow would be the second Wednesday of the month, I believe? Yeah, so I don't know if you'll see an increase tomorrow, or whether they're all going to happen. Where you get your regular Social Security, and then maybe later, you get the increased amounts, but they'll be significant, nice increases. The other thing is, when it comes to Doge, the Doge payments are supposed to go out starting the night of the 15th, which is a week from tomorrow, the night of the 15th, the 16th, 17th and 18th of October. So I think we could say safely, 16th, 17th, 18th. We'll see it as a direct deposit in your account, if you're on Social Security and getting a direct deposit. And if not, I'm not sure exactly how you'll get it, but it's going to be a pretty substantial chunk of money. The Doge will now you're also supposed to get at the same time the care dividend payment. Which could come, we're thinking it's going to be monthly between 6 months, and some may continue on for 18 months. So 6 months, possibly as long as 18 months for the dividend payments. This is from the terrorists the President Trump is collecting on imports and all that trading. That's going to be a nice, huge, big box. It's not going to be so as large as we thought initially, but it is going to be a nice amount. And they're trying to decide, and it may determine this tomorrow, whether they're going to combine the Doge and the tariff dividends. I don't know how they'll do that, if the tariff dividends are designed to go out monthly, so we'll see. Jury's still out on that. And the R&R, which could be substantial, because it depends on how much you paid in taxes, depends on how much you ran up your credit card interest. And your mortgage interest in bank loans and car loans, all of that stuff. That interest is going to be non-bindable to you. So we'll see what that looks like for some people have never paid a credit card late. They always paid their credit cards by the end of the month before the due date. You don't get anything back from that because you're an on-time payer. You never paid an interest. I know a few people that have never paid a nickel in interest on a credit card. They're few and far between us, but they do exist, alright. So keep that in mind, that's substantial, but that will be in our quantum accounts. And how do we find that out? When we go to the redemption center, we will ask about as we're setting up our quantum access card. Quantum access card, remember, is the size of a credit card, but about 3 times as thick, and it's not a card that you buy things with. It's only used to move funds from your quantum account into your primary bank account. You can set it up with about 3 different banks, I believe, and you can move funds into any of those banks. And when we go in for our exchanges, and we do that, we redeem our ZIM. That's when we load all from the proceeds of the exchanges into our quantum account. Then we move the funds into our primary bank account that has to and move what you want on day 1, when you go in for your exchange. Move what you want for to last you for 60 to 90 days. You can move as much as you need for that period of time to get your project started. To get everything started, you need, I told you guys what I plan to do, and I plan to have 4 sub-accounts, 1 for each of my projects that will all be funneled. Funds will be funneled from my primary account into those LLC accounts. Okay, I'm gonna set them up in the name of the LLCs that I'm working with. Alright. So let's see, we've talked about that, so that timing on those is between the night of the 15th. I'm going to call it the 16th, 17th and 18th, which is starting a week from tomorrow night. That's going to be very good. Let's see what else we have had contact with people that have been meeting and are saying that they are continuing to feed information and data into the quantum computer system so that it can calculate the algorithm or timeline, new timeline for this to happen. By that, I mean the notifications as to what day or day and time or whatever that is going to be coming out. I understand that I should have that information after 1 o'clock tomorrow each time. And I can't wait to get what they decided that if they get the result, it should be by then of all the information that's being processed as to when is the most optimal time to go. And everything being lined up from a military point of view and treasury point of view and everything. We'll see how all that comes out. But I should have, I hope, a very good timeline to give you on Thursday night's call, if we don't already have the number. I think, which is possible for Thursday. It is very possible. Now let's talk more about that. We've got people that are aware of what's happening at the Redemption Center in Reno where bondholders are being handled. They've got all of the fake bondholders taken care of, done away with. There were people that had tried to alter their looks, facial recognition, plastic or all that stuff so that they could pretend to be someone else, and they were caught. And that's been done for a couple of weeks now. Now, as of today or tomorrow bondholders will be coming in. 32 flights are scheduled at private jet to come in tomorrow, and 28 on Thursday. So 32 tomorrow, 28 on Thursday. That will be where they'll be reissued new paperwork and new codes and everything to get into their accounts. They'll be able to see their accounts and the funds that are in their accounts, and they'll also be able to know when they'll have access to those funds. We still don't know if they're going to get access to them, let's say tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, or they fly in and get that information. And so bond orders are moving. Funds are moving into their accounts. Okay? And they'll be made liquid now. Thing is, I don't know initially. I was told it could be tomorrow or Thursday. And I just think we should be aware that it could be either day, could be Wednesday, for like it's looking, or don't assume timeline says yet we're not going to know. Until President kick out 2 and give 2 options, a redemption center's out, and unfortunately, he's in the boat. Because not only are there redemption centers, we know how many, and we know the people that are contacting and emailing to those redemption centers, representing Wells Fargo. I mean, we know the individual people that do this. We know leaders of redemption centers in various parts of the countries that are over 7 or 8 redemption centers. Countries that are over 7 or 8 redemption centers. And the same thing is true in the South. We know people there over 6 or 7 redemption centers. We know a lot of these people personally, so don't tell me that there's only banks that are using 800 number on the back of your credit card and that those guys just aren't true. You know, we've talked about redemption centers ever since they became a reality, and we know they're real, and we know that. Why? Why would somebody say they're not real? Well, I'm not going to say what I know to be true about that, but I really think what's important is that we get the best rates that we can get on our currencies. And I know roughly what the rate is on the dong. Yes, it's good, and it's moving up higher. The dinar, same thing. And we know, guys, we have a contract rate on the dinar at the redemption center, only. And yes, I know it's over 100 and it's going to be good. Whatever it's going to be very good. And if they don't offer it to you, even if you have Zim, I understand, even if you have them, if you've got projects, they should offer it to you at the redemption center. If, for some reason, they don't and you're a dinar holder, ask them politely for the contract rate. Guess who made the contract? President Trump. That's who made the contract with Iraq. And so he's the one that's going to get this thing done for us with everything else he's trying to do around the world. Like peace between Hamas and Israel. Really, Palestine and Israel equals Hamas has just got to go. So simple as that. I don't know exactly where we stand on Russia and Ukraine. I know what the intention is over there for that peace process. But I don't know where it stands right now. We just have to believe, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for the peace in Israel and throughout the Middle East. It's going to be agreement that isn't here to by everybody in the Middle East. It's going to be an agreement. And it should be adhered to by everybody in the Middle East, call it by Palestine, and I'm excited about that working in that direction. Oh, yeah, we have a very strong source that is indicating the possibility of an announcement about our USN tomorrow. Now I would presume it might be made by President Trump. It could be made by Trump and Scott Bessent. I don't know if the two would be there together or what would happen. But if we do get that announcement, boy, that is a deal maker right there. That is a great for us, the deal maker. It really gets us moving into Nasara. Because remember, having our gold-backed currency, asset-backed currency, the USN, and having that internationally known and tradable and known to the United States. The people of the United States, that's a very big deal. And I think it's great. And I hope, if it is tomorrow, that's a very good sign that we should be getting notifications very soon. I would say that. Let's see, what else was I going to talk about? Oh, as a result of the government shutdown, realize that could be the best news we've heard in a week. That is the best thing that could have happened. Government workers are being furloughed. IRS. 70% of IRS agents' workers have been furloughed. Guess what? The remnant of the IRS is already being rolled into the US Treasury. I've told you that for years now that was going to happen. That's happening because, guess what? They don't have any more money to pay those guys now. They ran out of money to pay them under the government shutdown, and they're not going to rehire those 70s because the 30% that are left are there for the External Revenue Service. IRS Internal is going to be renamed the External Revenue Service, and the Fed is going to go away. At some point there'll be a remnant that will do some of the things the Fed used to do. But that's the central bank, where it's not even part of the United States government, and yet they're running our interest rates. And you know, very slowly that shouldn't, and it's been hurting us, not helping us. Amazing, really, what they've been able to get away with. Let's see what else. I think that's the majority of the financial information I wanted to bring you guys and about where we stand. So let's go ahead and pray the call out. Well, everybody, have a wonderful start of the week. And we look forward to talking with you Thursday night. See what happens in the meantime. But thanks, everybody. God bless you. Listen to the full version on the official DinarReport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: DinarRecaps.com.